Okay, guys, this is the middle of March in 2022, and I date this now because this is a video that I want to make available to more people than just those who are in the Living with Intention meetup. I want to send it to all the other folks that are on the meetup, and I don't know where it will end up, and it's sort of out there in the world. So the thing that we've been doing on Sunday evenings in Living with Intention is that, at least recently, I've been talking about some concepts about how do we understand what it is that we're doing here. It's not so much a reaction to what happened last Sunday as it is what it is that I hope that we're doing in a much broader scale, in a broader sense of what it is that we are about as people on this pilgrimage of life, traveling together, supporting each other, helping each other live the best possible lives that we can. So there's a series of concepts that I have been raising that I want to make available to you so that you can understand what it is that we're doing, at least from my point of view. Right? You can disagree with me. That's fine. That's great, actually. If you decide you want to disagree with me, then we can engage around these issues. But there's a whole set of things that sort of build our larger framework here. So just to kind of review them very quickly. Health is something that is available to an organism to the degree to which it moves towards what it needs. That means I have to be able to know what's going on. I have to know what it is that I need. I have to be able to move towards it for me to be a healthy organism. Okay, so that's the first piece. My ability to know to make those healthy choices depends upon me being grounded in reality. I have to actually know what's really going on. This is a part of what's so tragic about fake news, is that people are not living in reality. And as a consequence, they can't actually construct what they need. They become mired down in the poor choices of choosing to believe something that's not actually true. As we begin to develop better and better cognitive maps, one of the things that we discover, as we become more and more connected to reality, in fact, what we discover is that reality is actually chaotic. And we can't get our heads around chaos. We'd like things to be simple. Can't we just simplify things? But reality is, in many cases, not simple. It's not even complicated. It's actually complex, in the sense that it is a dynamic system with multiple interdependent variables. This thing changes, it changes that. We can't understand climate without complexity. We can't understand COVID without complexity. We can't understand sanctions on Russia without complexity, because there's all of these, each part changes something else. I can't really understand what's going on unless I have maps that allow me to think in complex ways. So one of the aspects of the complexity that we observe is that there are multiple realms of reality that arise in every moment. It's sort of like, which part of what's going on am I focusing on? Am I looking at the material world? And there are some folks who, if I can't touch it, it's not real. But there's also the realm of the relationships that I have with other, and law and language and culture and all of the things that have to do with how it is we structure our culture, our relationships through agreements. Okay? And there's also what's happening to me in my own interior, what's happening inside of me. What are my feelings, my sensations, my emotions, my thoughts, my wishes? And there's also the spiritual reality, which is kind of above where some of us are able to go, at least routinely. So we'll let that go for the moment, right? So there are these various realms of experience that are everywhere all the time. Within any particular realm, whatever's arising for me, some of what's arising for me is stuff I have no control over. And if I try to control it, I am only going to frustrate myself, and I'm actually going to probably engender resistance. But simply because I'm not in control of what's happening doesn't mean I can't, in some sense, be responsible for. I have some responsibility when it comes to whatever is arising, because I can shape that. And I can understand that from a complex map, that I am a part of a larger system that is transforming itself. And so as we do this, as we get better and better at this, what we discover is the capacity to be self-actualized. I can move my awareness to a place where I am living my life in more and more rich terms. I'm being more creative. Okay? So the particular piece of that I want us to look at this point is the phenomenon of emergence and transformation. Emergence is how everything that comes to be, but we don't really notice emergence when there's not some kind of change involved. We don't actually see the emergence happen. So we can see emergence much more clearly when we're looking at something that isn't always there, but something I want to have be there. It's starting to get warm. The water's going to warm up. I'm going to want to get my little sunfish out there, my sailboat, and sail. When I'm sailing, I have to have one hand on the rudder and one hand on the sheet, and I have to hold those in a kind of tension, aiming it right, seeing where the wind is coming from. And if I get it right, I can actually go faster than the wind. The movement of the sailboat is an emergent property that's created by the interplay between the sheet, the rudder, and me, right? As I'm holding this in tension. Fire is an emergent property. If I have heat and I have fuel and I have oxygen and I have enough of them in enough proximity, I will have fire. If I don't have all three, the fire is going to go away. So fire is a good example of an emergent property. There are lots of other ones. Relationally, if we have a relationship where we know each other, and we can see that we respect each other, we value who each other is, and we act in ways that are considerate of each other's best interests. If we do those things, what arises within the relationship is a quality that we call trust. Okay? So these are examples of emergent properties. Now, as I said, everything is an emergent property. There's some emergent, and so each emergent property, like the capacity to sail a boat, the movement of the boat is an emergent property. And if I get together with other boats and the other boat helmsman, and we have an agreement and we have a structure for it, we can have a sailboat race. So a sailboat race is an emergent property that's made up of these. So it's nested properties all the way up. The fire that I have the capacity to create on my stove becomes one of the component parts for dinner. Right? The trust that you and I are able to create in our relationship with each other is a quality of the depth of the relationship. The relationship gets deeper the more we have these certain qualities present for us. Each of these steps to a greater level of complexity in this hierarchy of complexity, from the rudder to the movement of the boat to the sailboat race, or from the spark on the stove to the fire to the dinner, each of these is a developmental process that gets the movement is towards greater complexity, and that movement to greater complexity is a process we call transformation. Now, transformation is always happening all the time. We don't have to do anything to make transformation happen. We don't have to be consciously aware of it. But when we're consciously aware of it, when we lean into it, there are certain things that we can do that speed transformation, that make it more durable, and that make us more capable of being organisms who have health, who are actually able to create what we need. And so that's largely what we're doing here, is helping ourselves to be we're creating for ourselves a community in which we're supported in transforming into organisms who are healthier, and doing that within a community that is itself healthier. All right? I hope that helps kind of make sense of what it is that we're doing, and I'm eager to see where we go with this Sunday evening. See you then.